Hey. All right. I'm going to talk about the trades. I did the trades for 2 years. I was a industrial insulator. This was like right after high school. I wanted to kind of see what that lifestyle was like before I did college. And I learned. I learned more than enough, man, let me tell you. I learned that there are many freaks, but I mean, in the trades in general, there's quite a few like characters. So basically I got tormented by a lesbian that looked like Eminem when I was at Shell Scotsford, okay? Shell Scotsford is this refinery. It's the size of a city. Like, it's got avenues and streets and shit. And they put me on a supply truck for 6 months with this woman who literally looked like some shady. And she's one of these people who, she's like one of these like butch people that like was super like, yeah, I'm gonna say something, and he's gonna be like, whoa, that's so profound. Like, my introduction to her was this. My foreman taps me on the shoulder at lunch. We used to eat lunch in these giant like canopy bubble things that were on site. He goes, you're going to be on the truck with whatever her name was, Bazinga. I should say her name was Bazinga. It doesn't matter. You're going to be on the truck with Bazinga. I'm like, okay. So, finish my lunch, go over to the track, introduce myself. The truck, excuse me. I go to the truck, introduce myself. She's like kind of chill at the start. I'm like, all right, whatever. She's like, I run a tight ship, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it, whatever. That's a trades thing, is you have some people who are like, pseudo military, like they think they did the military and whatever, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen these people before. So, you know, there's now before we get into the truck, I want to say that there was a guy that he would always at lunch go outside of his arms behind his back and just stare off into the distance. There was like a thing he did. He just like looked out to the horizon or whatever. Like, the area we were in was mad flat. It's like a desert, but imagine pipes were everywhere. We start driving, and I see the guy again doing his monk maxing thing, and I make a comment to her, very light. I go, I wonder what he's pondering all the time. That's it. And she goes, probably that he's dying of pancreatic cancer, and I lost my wife recently to cancer, so you should watch your fucking mouth. That was within 5 minutes of meeting this person. 10 minutes later, we're still driving to the supply yard to like get our shit, and she goes, see these sunglasses? She had like these yellow tinted sunglasses. I'm like, yeah. It's like, you know why I wear them? I was like, the sun? She's like, no, I have hepatitis A. Like, okay. The medication I take makes my eyes sensitive, and they're blue. Do you notice how blue and pretty they are? And I was just kind of like, you sure? Yeah, for sure. This woman made me mad uncomfortable. She was lesbian because she had a wife. She was married to a woman. But she would like do these weird like coming on to me comments, and I was like, I don't like this at all, because it was just me and her in this like giant supply yard alone all the time, and then occasionally we'd see other people because we were dropping off material. So it was just like this, we had a very, very weird dynamic, and I hated it. She would lose her mind about everything. So like when we'd be at the supply yard, like if something was disorganized because people were just like messing with it, there was like this weird rivalry between certain companies. So Shell Scotsford is owned by Shell Gasoline, right? So, but obviously there's like contractors on site and different like companies, right? There's like what were they called? There was like Jacobs, there was Safeway, a bunch of like that kind of stuff. I don't know how many of those guys are still there, because now a lot of stuff is non-union, was union, etc. For some reason, like certain companies that were all insulators, they would like destroy other people's work. I don't know why, like for some reason. It was like, but the thing is, like, it doesn't make sense, because people could tell when something's being stepped on and like messed up, obviously, right? So, but anyway, that's a whole nother thing. That doesn't really matter right now. What does matter is this. So, how it worked was, we would be at the supply yard. I'd be organizing the shit, you know, making sure it was nice and tidy. And we get a radio call from one of the foremen being like, hey, I need 2 pieces of 24x2 Kelso insulation and whatever, maybe some cladding. Anyway, so her and I are on this truck every day. She would try to give me like horrific life advice. Like, she was telling me like, hey, you know, if you're with a girl, you should put an ice cube in your mouth when you eat her out. And I was like, I don't need to hear this. I'm eating breakfast, but thank you. She would just cry sometimes randomly, because like, I mean, I was sympathetic to the fact that her wife died of cancer, but like, you can't just jump from calling me useless to that and then expect me to care. So it was just her and I on this truck for like months. And every time we get a call to bring in insulation, sometimes there'd be a mix-up. Sometimes there'd be like, oh, you need to bring this insulation a block further, or oh, actually, can we get one more piece? The entire time driving back and picking up the piece, and then driving again back, she would scream into the steering wheel at like 4 trillion decibels. Like, she could create a black hole with how loud she would scream. And it was 7 a.m. every time, and I would just stare forward until it was done, because all I thought about was like, you know what? This truck could crash into a fucking petroleum tank farm, and I would be vaporized, and it would be better than dealing with this every single day. Luckily, some deity was listening to me, because eventually we got a third person on the truck who basically equally as useless as me, which was this 4'2" drug-dealing Jamaican named Little Nicky, who was also an insomniac. So he would just fall asleep standing, and you'd have to like shake him. It was pretty funny though. One time we were delivering material on a tower, and then we were passing by this like white-looking stuff, and he's like, "Oh hell no, man! Is that asbestos? Nah, man, I'd be like titties and bounce." Yeah, we were the Three Musketeers, the world's the A team of insulation. Yeah, man, I don't know. It was just, it's every time I think of that time, I'm just like, what the hell was I thinking? Just being stuck on this truck with these people. But it was just absolute hell. I mean, if there's anything that required, there's nothing else I could think of that required any kind of like confirmation that I was not going to stay in this trade, because it was just a nightmare. Just every day being screamed at by this woman, and eventually, thank God, I got taken off the truck and didn't have to deal with her ever again. But one time I was in college, she accidentally walked into the men's locker room, and my heart sank. I was like, oh God, not like this. But yeah, if there's anything I learned is you should definitely do the trades for 1 year, and yeah, that's basically it.